So here's good news. Trent Williams, who I think we can mostly admit, even if you're a non-49er fan, best left tackle in football. And what we've been saying on this show, I love Brandon Ayuk. You better get Trent Williams back because it's not the same team. This offense is Shanahan, Trent Williams, and Christian McCaffrey in any order. He's coming back. He signed a deal. He's back in the Bay. So the noisiest offseason in the NFL is suddenly getting quieter. And I mean, the Niners offseason made the Jets' noisy offseason feel like a monastery. It was baggage. It was noise. Christian McCaffrey didn't play. Brandon Ayuk had that horrible Ricky Pearsall shooting incident. He is now out of a hospital. Prayers to him and his family. Now, the Niners are an older team, and they're facing real pressure because Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, and Trent Williams have a lot of wear on those tires. And you know who doesn't? Three of the best challengers in the NFC. The Packers, the Lions, and yes, the Rams are really good, have 6- and 7-year runways. The Niners plane is about to take off. It's got the heaviest cargo ever. It may only have one great liftoff yet, and I'm not sure I like the landing gear. Now we're going to see a team that is facing real pressure. Kyle Shanahan, I need a trophy. I need a trophy. The Jets don't have a trophy. Either do the Niners. A lot of regular season wins. So that Jets-Niners matchup, the baggage bowl. You've had noise, you've got stars, you got no trophies, and both think it's their time. So I can't wait for that on Monday Night Football, which is 6 days away. But the Niners are interesting now because we've sort of been, let's be honest, we kind of know who the great quarterbacks are in the NFL, and we've sort of been coddling Brock Purdy. But this is the year that the York family, owners of this franchise, Shanahan and John Lynch, will make the grown-up decision. Do we pay this kid real money? They'll know by Thanksgiving. But the schedule's tough. I think the division, it may not be the AFC North or the NFC North, but I think the division's still really good. Keep your eye on Seattle. I think we're going to learn a lot about this team. A lot of noise, a lot of baggage, a lot of cargo, very expensive, and older players. Debo gets hurt, McCaffrey, Trent Williams, Kittle. This is the best roster in the league. It is absolutely the best roster. One of the older ones, but the best roster. Detroit may be close, Philadelphia good, like the Chiefs too. This is the best roster in the league. And if Stafford, Joe Burrow, Mahomes were the quarterback, they'd be heavy, overwhelming favorites to win a Super Bowl. And they're not. Now they're in the top 3, but now the pressure isn't just on everybody else not named Brock Purdy. Now it's on Brock Purdy too. So let's stop the coddling. Let's get this party started. Trent Williams back in tow. Brandon Ayuk back in camp. The noisiest team in the NFL suddenly got quiet, and I can't wait for the opener against the equally noisy and high expectation Jets. All right, so I watched a lot of college football this weekend, and the college football season got great ratings for a lot of reasons. Get into that later. But I was reading a takeaway, an article this morning that said, the headline reads, 10 takeaways from an eventful college football week 1. And instead of going with 10, I'm going to slim that list down to 1. Lincoln Riley can coach. Yeah, he's really, really good at coaching. The same people who banged on Lincoln Riley for years tried to convince you that Jim Harbaugh couldn't coach either. Do resumes matter anymore? I watched Lincoln Riley, with less talent on a neutral field and a younger team, out-coach Brian Kelly, out-execute LSU, one of the top 3 SEC football programs. This insatiable need to think you're smarter than everybody, and you see something the rest of us don't, that Harbaugh and Lincoln Riley can't coach. Give me a break. USC was a dead program. 4 wins, 30 Division I players, and they won 11 games the next year. But like Harbaugh at Michigan, they weren't really nearly as good, and they're still not as talented as Ohio State, Georgia, Bama, or Texas. USC does not have, this morning, that kind of talent, and they may not have Oregon's either. And the criticism of Lincoln Riley that did to me, that was fair and that made sense and was reasonable was, okay, he's won games. We know he can design plays. We know he's pretty damn smart offensively. And, man, what he does with quarterbacks, all of them is magic. But there was one question, and it was reasonable, is can he build his own culture? Because Oklahoma's always good. Not much of a rebuild in Oklahoma. A down year at Oklahoma is like 9 or 10 wins. Top 5 program ever. So that criticism, can he build his own staff and his own culture, was fair. And his first try at it, the defensive staff was terrible. But now he rebooted. D'Anton Lynn is now the defensive coordinator. He'll be in the NFL in 2 years. This defensive staff is the first time. It wasn't that USC won. USC's been scoring points forever. They scored them with Clay, Lincoln, Sark, Kiffin, Pete. But it was the first time since Pete Carroll that you watched a USC staff and you see other head coaches on the staff beyond the head coach, Lincoln Riley, that you literally felt they were going up against an SEC team with a $10 million a year coach, and they out-executed, they out-coached, they outsmarted, they outplanned, they out-adjusted. That's been missing. USC could have won 37-34, and you wouldn't feel the same way that you felt winning narrowly in a lower-scoring game. Because USC with Caleb Williams, and you'll see how good he is in Chicago, had to put on the cape to beat teams like Arizona. Now they can go toe-to-toe. Coaching, execution, quarterback, secondary, they look like a real team. Again, are they a 12-team playoff team? I think they are. I don't think they're Ohio State. I don't think they're Georgia, Texas, Bama. I don't think they have that kind of talent. But it's not that they won. It's how they won. People all over the country on social media were saying, look at the tackling, which is like loving a carpenter because he's good with a hammer and a nail. Shouldn't he be? Isn't that the foundational piece all construction guys are good at? No, that's how bad it's been at USC. So Lincoln Riley, I know, you're trying to tell us that you're magical. You can see stuff the rest of us can't with Harbaugh and Lincoln Riley. You also tried to sell us on NFTs, which are now worthless. And that was pretty good. Maybe not great, but it was pretty good. And LSU's going to run the table the next 4 or 5 weeks and blow people out. Go look at their schedule. So stop telling me LSU's no good. LSU's almost always good. They won a national title with Ed Orgeron. They got Brian Kelly. They'll be fine. Hi, everybody. It's me, Uncle Colin. Subscribe here to get the latest from the herd, including exclusive behind-the-scenes videos and more, wherever you may be, however you may be watching. Thanks again for making us part of your day.